This video is going to be all about how I use Notion. Specifically, I'll be sharing how I use it as a college student. I have been using Notion for the past 3 years. I have been using it ever since, and that is why I'm so... This is crazy to me, but this video is sponsored by Notion. Look at me getting red. I'm so passionate about Notion, and I tell all my friends about this because it has changed my life. If you do not know what Notion is, it's basically an organizational tool where you can really customize it to fit your needs and everything you need to do. I think visuals can explain better than I can, so I'll just insert some pictures here of like what it looks like. It's also really good for team collaboration, and I know that some workplaces actually use Notion as their main workspace to share their projects. I wanted to share how I use Notion as a college student and how it has helped me be so productive and organized. So we will just start. So if you look to the left side, there is this bar that shows your main pages, and I have 4 of them. I just added these bread emojis and I love them. Starting with the first one, my personal homepage. This page really sparks joy and I really like it. So it starts off with some pictures that I just really like. I like to think in the future I would love to have a kitchen like this. So I think that was my reasoning. And I also have this Bible verse here that I really like. Underneath here I have these multiple pages, and each one serves a different purpose, and I will get into that later. But next I have this lifestyle mood board. These boards kind of remind me of Pinterest boards, but I love taking photos from Pinterest and just dumping it in here and looking at it when I want to. This whole element might look a little confusing, but it's really easy to make. All you do is you create a gallery view and then new database. You can title it whatever you want, and then as a default there will be these different pages and you can just redo them. It's really intuitive, it's very easy to use, and it's so like stress-free use. And one more thing from here that I like is this happy design board that I created, and it's just a bunch of graphic design things that make me happy. I just like coming back to this when I'm feeling really burnt out with school and like this is like what I want to do, this is what I want to make in the future. So it just gives me that spark of inspiration that I need. And then I don't have much left here, but habit tracker, this little element where I could add a Spotify playlist, and then more images of just vibey things, I guess. Yeah, that is my personal home, but I do have some pages here that are very functional and very useful. The first one is daily, and if you click on it, it leads you to another page that has more of these links, which are more pages. My first one is a to-do list, so this is like my daily to-do list. This is also really easy to make. This cover, again, I just got it from Pinterest and I just dragged it into here. And then for these to-do lists, you just do / and then there's a option for a to-do list, and so that's pretty much it. And then I just made one for like each line. At the end of the day I would like check them all off, and it's like the most satisfying thing to check these off. And then at the end of the week I would drag all of these and then put them in this storage. This is actually just another page, but it acts as like a storage. I am such a sentimental, nostalgic person, so I love looking back into my storage and seeing like every single thing that I did. The next link here is a weekly vision. To be honest, I don't use this that much, but I should. This is also really easy to use. I love how you can just see the things that you need to do, the things you're doing, and then things that are done. It's so easy to move these around when you do get to them. This is one of the reasons why Notion helps you be so productive, because It feels so rewarding when you drag these over to like a done element and then you can visually see every single task that was completed, and it just makes you feel so accomplished. And then lastly on this daily page is a gratitude journal. I also do not do this as often as I should, but I just create a toggle list, and then you can also create another element to add the date. So I can just add like today. If you click on it, a whole calendar will pop up. So Notion, so smart. It just knows like everything I need. And then I would add like things here and then untoggle it. And when I don't want it to show up anymore, I would just add it to the archive again. That is it for my daily. And going back, the next one I have is rest. These are just a collection of things that I like, not very functional links that I like, things to journal and document when you have some free time. So once again, I just created this because it looks very peaceful and relaxing, and I like to come to it when I do have time. I created a page for each year that I have been using Notion, and oh, this one looks very empty, but the first element here is actually like the goals that I set for this year. This, I actually started working on it, but I did not finish it. I was watching Chris Yu's Notion tour on YouTube, and she had this table where she put down every single event or project or meeting that she had with someone. She would create tags for each month that happened, and then once she filled that out, you can also create a calendar view of this database, and it will show a whole calendar of each element that she created. I'll do one just to show what it would be like. So for example, I finished my design project. For tags, I'll create December because I finished it in December, and then I also want to add a date so that it shows up in my calendar view. I finished that December 11th. And then if I want to see a different view, I can add calendar view. It'll just show up right there. Imagine if I filled out this entire table. If I just flip through my calendar and I just see all these things that I've done, that would make me feel so accomplished. So obviously I'm still working on this, but I will get to that. For my habit tracker, I added some tasks that I want to do every day. Morning stretches, Bible reading, and sleeping before 12 a.m. And I would just check these off if I did that. It makes me feel so good when I check these off, especially when I check off like the whole row. Notion has a lot of templates where you can just add these elements that they already have and add them to your pages, and this habit tracker is what I got from one of their templates. So you don't really need to do too much work. That's pretty much it for my personal home. Moving on to my next page, I'll show my school page next. This is the page that I actually use the most because of school. It's very simple. I just have these 3 main pages once again, and then an archive page. I hate like deleting things because I get attached to them. But anyways, for my first page, my courses, this is a whole gallery view of every single class that I've taken. I just created like a gallery view and then added a page for each class. So these are all different pages. So for example, this is one page. I didn't want to get too complicated because then I knew I wouldn't use it. So if there are any notes that I want to take, I would just type anything in here. I took this one marketing class that was very lecture heavy. So for each lecture class that we would have, I created a toggle element. And then underneath that toggle, I would just write down any notes that I had for that class. And then I did this for every single class. My notes are all over the place because I'm just like typing away as the class is happening. But sometimes when I do have time and if there is something important, I would create this call out element, which is also very easy to make. And then you can customize your icon and then write something. Yeah. So that's kind of how I took my notes. Maybe not the most organized, but I have it there in one page. Oh, and then one last thing. A lot of my marketing classes were like open notes, and so I would just untoggle every single thing and then do Control F and then look for a word, and then I would be able to find it. If we're going over PowerPoint slides, I'll sometimes screenshot something that's important and just drag it and drop it in here. And it's so easy, like it's so easy. Like you just drag and drop. It'll stay here. You can look back on it if you want it to be smaller, and then to view it more in depth, just double click. So yeah, this really works for me when I'm in class and it's really fast paced and I can just jot everything down. If you can see, there's just a lot of these toggle elements, so I really use that a lot. It makes my life so easy. Yeah, I also love that I have this. Everything is organized in this one page, so I would know where to go when I'm looking for these specific things. Next, I'll go into my create page. This is all of my creative things like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Etsy, and some random ideas that I have. Just to briefly go over one of them, I have this page for YouTube. I divided these pages with the year. So for this year, I have an upload schedule because I was a little more consistent this year posting. So I have this table view of every single video that I uploaded, and I created a tag for if I'm editing or if it's uploaded. And then I also added the date here. What's nice about this is that you can add different views, and if you look at the board view, you can see how it's divided between editing and uploaded. And then this calendar view goes along with that data. So if I go back a couple months, I can see specifically like which date I posted each video. Once again, just really good visual like organization to see what I did. And another thing that I love about this is that each element that you add in here, you can open it up into a page. If you want to add notes, you can just add like notes here, and then it'll just show up when you click on it. For me, this is good if I want to have like editing notes or things that I want to add in the captions that I will need later on when I get to editing that video. I know this is very specific for my YouTube uploads, but this is such a good system for anything. You can do this for your school assignments or projects or work if you want to keep track of things that you've done or currently are working on. Notion, I don't know how they thought of all of this, but everything just makes sense. Lastly, I have my media documentation. I created this when I was watching a bunch of other YouTubers showing their Notions, and for some reason like everyone had a media documentation for like books or movies or dramas that they watched. I really like that idea, but I just have not been able to keep up with tracking that. So this is literally from 2020, but I would add like things I'm watching, reading, or podcasts here. I can do one to demonstrate. So I'll create a gallery view, a new database, and then I'll take this out. These are like default, so I'm just gonna rearrange all of these. You can have all these different views, but they're all gonna be the same sources, but just in different formats. So for table, I like using the table because I can add these tags. I'll create a tag for watched, and then if you create a tag, you can reuse it. So I just created these for watched. I'll create another group for watching. I think this created element is not very necessary, so I'll just delete that. And then for date, I'll give like a rough date of when I watched it. Yeah, I'll just like fill this up later, but then now I can go back to my other views and then they will have it organized for me. What's good about this gallery view is that I can add like images from the drama and then it'll show up, and it'll just be a really good visual representation of the things that I watched. I just added some more images to each page. I think I'm gonna change this cover. So you can choose an image from this gallery that they have, or you can upload an image. And I have this picture from Our Beloved Summer. Gonna reposition this. And these little like paper icons, you can edit all of them. I think it'll be a lot cuter if I add specific emojis that go with that drama. Just logging these things down, like the dramas that you watched or movies or books, I feel like it's such a therapeutic thing to do. Just really like fun things to do while also being organized. So yeah, in conclusion, I love Notion because you can customize it to serve your needs, take notes, manage tasks, set goals. If you want to get started with Notion, you can sign up for free with the link that I will have in the description box. And if you are currently a Notion user, I would love to hear your favorite parts of Notion or just how you use it, because I would love to get more inspiration. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and that is all I have to say.